It looks dope. I think his in-game model looks cool. The brother looks a little pale, but then again, lighting on the subway, not exactly the most flattering, so I'm gonna let that go. And mad people were like, bro, you wonder why fighting games are so intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it and I was like, that was like a way easier way Bandai Namco could have presented how to play a character than giving us like a goddamn, like nothing short of a goddamn spreadsheet. Ease motherfuckers in, please. Like, don't just go full Nelson on it. Like, just give it a second, all right? Like, so also shout outs to homework assignment number 4. Play a 1st to 5 with someone else in Discord. Make sure you record it and submit the names of both individuals. That is homework, dog. You know how many motherfuckers have done that just for fun? Now you can get credit for it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. I am your returning lost boy of a host, Price Tag, in the building with a recovering Meza, coming live back from MagFest Prime, right? That's what they call it, MagFest Prime now?
No, it's MagFest. It's just MagFest.
So just MagFest?
Actually,
okay.
Well, I mean, no, they do add the Prime, but it's not really like, I mean, I guess it's because it was Metroid themed, but I don't know why it was Metroid themed this year. It just didn't feel like it that much.
Moral of the story is he's coming back from MagFest, so if he seems a little out of it, you know what it is. For those who've been in MagFest, you know it's just a party. You know the next couple of days are just all recovery. So speaking of recovery, well, not really recovery, but Static G, he won't be with us this week. He's got some things to take care of, but that's all good. We'll be holding it down, of course. This is, of course, Double Tap. This is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game communities. Episode 357. More importantly, recorded on the 22nd of January, 2024. A very important week. We're going to tell you guys why in a little bit. But we want to say real quick, we appreciate everyone that has been listening. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Double Tap FGC, and of course on our YouTube, where we post up segments of this show, clips, all that good stuff, and shorts up there as well. So remember, once again, Double Tap FGC, make sure to go follow. But let's jump into the episode, guys. We got we got some good stuff to get into. But the first thing we're gonna get into, of course, is what we talked about last week when you guys covered up. So Meza, why don't you walk us through the question of the week and the poll that we got set up for us?
Okay, so last week you guys we asked a pretty interesting question, which was question of the week: where do you see the fighting game community in the next 5 to 10 years with the changes within esports and the current rise of many great fighting games? One of the responses was from Leonix, which is, it's really interesting to see fighting games start to evolve beyond being a fighting game. You have the narratives of the Persona games. You have beat 'em up in Street Fighter 6 and DNF. If DNF was smart, which I agree. I do agree 100% with that. You have Fall Guys and Grand Blue. I have a feeling we will see something totally unexpected beyond the next 5 years.
That kind of falls on like what I was talking about, right? Like things that I want to see are like kind of fighting games expanding outside of their genre. Like I think right now we're kind of like dipping the toes in it by doing like other things, other very unique game modes that are not just like your traditional like time attacks, your versus or dramatic battles and such. Now that we got, like you said, Fall Guys, beat 'em ups, and stories are great, but I mean, we might, maybe that single player idea, God of War, Scorpion type game is not really as far away as we thought it might be. But you definitely good points on that.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, for our other question, which is more of a poll, it was, should DLC include more than playable characters? Which we had a stunning on Twitter. 22
overwhelming
95.5% to 4.5. Why would you even vote no? So should there be more?
Someone just was like, you know what? They just want their characters, they want their costumes, they want their colors, they want none of it. Lean meat, no fat. I mean, the rest of us, we want that bacon goodness, man. Give us more than just playable characters.
I mean, Cross Tekken did nothing but playable characters, so I guess it wasn't that bad. It was a lot. No, you know what?
Cross Tekken had a shitload of costumes though. Yeah, as well.
Costumes, but like the characters, there was tons of characters. Yes, there was tons of costumes, but those came with characters. And I guess if you want to say the gym system, but they didn't really do anything with that. So I really felt like they should have done a little bit more. But overall, you guys said you want more. I think we should get more. People said Grand Blue is kind of the new standard. Mortal Kombat with Street Fighter 6 adding a whole like story mode and EX battles and play with your main character against your friends. I think they've kind of captured what people should be looking for, which is a $70 to $80 game or a $60 game at the time. So that would be most suitable moving forward, I think, for all games, all fighting games at least.
I think it's a good standard. I mean, who doesn't want more for their dollar? Let's be honest here. You know, who doesn't want to get more value out the buck that they're going to put out for the game that they already bought? So, you know, having more than just playable characters makes sense. More features, maybe even more modes that you can opt into. Not to say Tekken bowling needs to be something you got to pay for, but you know, the idea of having more content that isn't just for the hardcore, for the competitor that might just like it the most, ain't exactly a bad look. So. Good question.
I'm gonna actually pose a question to you real quick before we move on.
Oh, what you got?
Do you think that we should pay for some of the modes that we receive versus just paying for the game?
I mean, obviously, I want as much as I can. Like I said, I want my dollar to stretch, right? I want to get as much as I can for my 60. If we make the move to that 70, you know, right? Like, then we're not gonna go super hardcore into that conversation. But like, you know, if games eventually they scale up with that cost, I know it's like, oh, they should cost more now, but I don't mind it if I pay a couple extra bucks if I just get features that come with it. Like, that's not really unheard of, right? That's just, you know, adding more to the service. You know, it pays a little extra more, a little more work. Got to get a little bit more back. So I'm not really against it, to be honest. Paying for more, as long as it's like I said, the value is there for it, right? If I can get my enjoyment out of it, that I think it's worth my money, which is subjective, right? Some people might find one mode way more fun than a person might say that's just garbage. I would never pay $5 for that. But you know, that's always going to be the ongoing quest, right? For all video games out there, right? So
okay.
All right, so with that, we appreciate everyone that has participated in the question of the week and, of course, in the poll. We'll be having a new one later on in this episode. Of course, you guys can participate on Spotify as well as on Twitter. We'll give some specifics later when we post that up. So let's get into it, man. We're a couple minutes in already on the show. Let's get into our first subject. And the first one is already a bit of a doozy, and that is, of course, Edward. We're not talking about Elric. We're talking about just... Right, Ed. I don't think Ed has
never had a last name.
Yeah, but right, Ed never had a last name. So we got a teaser trailer for Ed for Street Fighter 6. Obviously, the next DLC character to be coming out in the season pass that we've known since last year. And even though we were a little bit sidetracked by some Akuma, Capcom didn't let us forget and actually dropped this awesome trailer. I think this was just a couple days ago, right? I believe this was 3 days ago. So off the rip, man, I'm gonna just tell you, he looks. Let's go with him. Let's go with him first. Ed looks dope. I think his in-game model looks cool. The brother looks a little pale, but then again, lighting on the subway, not exactly the most flattering. So I'm gonna let that go. I don't know if it's the original voice actor. I was trying to see on IMDb if I was seeing any credits for this character already. So I don't even know if it's the original. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I believe it's like Mr. Bronco or something like that. I can't remember his first name. But we get to see Ed and your character, your World Tour character. So I'm assuming this is like your introduction to Ed in the World Tour mode. And you know,
like how they did
exactly like Aki and all. So this was dope because this is such a final fight call out. A fight in the subway with goons. This was like level 2 or something like that. I think level 2 is like the first one you drop underground after you kind of hit the streets. And it was a cool call out. The music as well. I don't know about you, man, but I was kind of bumping to the track a bit. If you like, so I'm kind of excited to actually have Capcom release this. Like they've just been kind of throwing out some amazing themes for these characters, like all game, and Ed came out swinging pretty well. So.
I feel like this is very interesting because I've always hated Ed. Like, he's just such a whack-ass character.
He remember, he was designed for Street Fighter V to be the new newcomer character,
beginner,
right? Beginner character, because his inputs were also down. He had simplified inputs, and he was that experiment for that. He was supposed to be Street Fighter V's, I guess, Luke, right? And his story was a little strange, right? He is supposed to be the next generation of psycho power users. Is like the only other character outside of, I guess, Falk and Bison, obviously, that can use psycho power, right?
Well, remember, he had a time limit on him before, because it was supposed to be for Bison's body to take over.
Yeah.
And
the classic.
we don't know, and he looks sick still. But I'm talking about sick in the sense of like actually like physically looking sick. Yeah. They supposedly are saying he found a way around it to still survive. I don't really know what they're gonna do with that story and how they're gonna. I want to say retcon it because it feels like it's gonna get retconned. I don't know, but he does seem more box heavy, which we didn't. They said he did train under Balrog. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to see him. He looks more Steve-ish from like Tekken. That's what I'm getting vibes of. Like I'm getting
a little bit more sauce.
But the one thing I actually appreciate, because it's still Capcom, they added that Devil May Cry style look and like almost. I kind of I'm like, yo, I might want to try Ed this time around. He kind of looks cool. Like he kind of seems like he vibes. But the biggest thing for me is when he does the side switch. That's originally his V reversal. So when he does little weird slide and then does the punch, that's his V reversal. I'm wondering if that's going to turn into a normal move now, because we see him do it in tandem with his V skill originally, which he pulls you in with his tether, psycho power tether. So I'm kind of curious if they're going to do that, or if they're going to tie, because I guess you want to say the V reversal and then seeing him do that punch was kind of like the fireball. Maybe it's upgraded, it's now more condensed and it's no longer a fireball, it's just a punch that actually does something. I don't know, it's so hard to tell with all of this. It just feels so empty. This is how I felt with Aki.
It wasn't until the trailer dropped that I realized like he is gonna have a crazy rework, right? Because he was one of those characters where his V skill and his V trigger kind of defined him the most. So coming into Street Fighter 6, I'm like, oh damn, he's really gonna play differently. So it got me curious. Now I'm interested. Now I want to try him out to see how they're gonna tweak his kit. But we're just gonna have to wait. Once again, he is coming out in February, so right around the corner.
I don't know if you also peeped the Hugo picture as it's first coming down. The giant, it says giant attack against Hugo.
Giant attack against Hugo. Yeah, I saw that.
I gotta say, I kind of hope. I don't like Hugo that much, but I kind of like him in Third Strike because he's really cool. I think he might fit this game if they might be hinting towards season 2 possibly. Like, hey, we don't really have a final fight character in this game, so this may be one.
Maybe we'll have to see. So Ed's coming out once again in February. It's around the corner. So I just want to see a gameplay trailer. I want to see a breakdown already. Capcom should hopefully be soon enough for us to see how how he's gonna actually swing for the fences. So real quick, actually, we got one last thing to hit before we hit our break. So we had a very odd cryptic tweet. Hey, if you're plenty of games out there to play right now, maybe you had a chance to check out Lives of Pi. Lives of P, excuse me, I keep saying Pi. I don't know if I'm hungry or not, but Lives of P. But there was a very cryptic, random kind of tweet that came out from the official Twitter page. Nothing beats a classic masterpiece. Adding Street Fighter. Is this the best you got, my friend? We've got two known characters from the game actually sitting down in the classic arcade cab from the game itself. With just these weird little Easter eggs in there, right? If you just want to look at it, as our producer kept hauling us about it, yo, it's a 4K image, enhance that shit. You can actually take a good look at some details in there. Obviously, he's got the Capcom branding on it. The Street Fighter 6 logo was the first thing that threw me off, because I was like, bro, that's the logo that flamed them. So I was like, that's a bold move to include that. Did they not? I don't know if marketing department's gonna talk to them after that tweet and be like, yo, you used the wrong logo. Other side is maybe it was a very long, an old render from the collab from that far away. Could happen. Game developers talk to each other for quite some time. But we basically don't have really much else to go off. Of course, the character inside as well. Actually, I can't remember the name off the top of my head because I can't zoom in right now. But those are characters that you actually do see in the game. The stage is, from the actual game itself, it's actually branded Krot Street Fighter. That is a location in the game, so they're just trying to imply this is just Street Fighter in that world. What in the hell did this all mean? We don't know. Is it going to be avatars? Is it an event? Is it actual costumes for different characters that are actually in the game? We don't know. We're just gonna have to wait to find out if anything actually comes out of this, or was this just really, the developers just giving Street Fighter their flowers, right? We'll just have to wait and see to find out. Where this is just speculation station to 100% right now. We'll just have to wait and see if anything develops from here.
Character's name is Puccinello.
Thank you. I was like, we said it before. I just couldn't remember. But speaking of development, we're going to develop this quick ad break real fast. We're going to come back after this and give our own flowers to Street Fighter on the units they sold this year alone. So don't go anywhere, guys. Be right back. All right, we are back. See, didn't take that long. Didn't even realize we were gone. So to round out our Street Fighter 6 news, this actually came out earlier. I think it was actually shortly after last week's episode. It just had been updated. But Street Fighter 6 officially tweeted out a kind of a celebratory tweet to state that they have sold over 3 million copies in 7 months. So that is no small feat at all. To put it into perspective, y'all, put it in perspective.
I wonder.
I
don't know what your notes are. I got some crazy notes.
To put in perspective, 3 million copies in 7 months. Street Fighter V in their first year did half of that. So Street Fighter did about 1.5 in 1 year. We're not even at the 1 year mark. We're already doubling on that. And also, if you recall, they stated they want this game to sell 10 million copies in its lifetime. Like just the entire run of Street Fighter, whatever it's going to be. Street Fighter 6, Super Street Fighter, Ultra. Last I checked, I think those were the two of the games that were leaked in that big NVIDIA leak a good while back. But they want to sell 10 million copies. They're already 30% of the way there without even getting into year one. It's amazing what good gameplay, solid marketing, and kind of bringing some new stuff to kind of bring in the new blood into the game can do for you in terms of sales, right? Kind of crazy concept, but they did it. Can't knock them for that. So we can only just congratulate them on the 3 million strong start. I don't know if you had any notes, but those were all my notes. So
to actually piggyback off of that, you said Street Fighter V. So keep in mind, Street Fighter V, since 2016 when it first released in February, it actually, till 2020, only made 5 million copies sold. So that's a very interesting 4-year gap of Street Fighter V being out to pretty much, COVID hit. I'm sure there was way more sales that came a little bit later, but even for Street Fighter 4, which came out in February 2009, that actually till September 2020, actually 3.4 mil. So it's very scary to look at the how different that is. And of course, fighting games has picked up tremendously, but I think that it's hard to say this, but I feel like we have to, in this era of time period, 3 point whatever mil, or just 3 mil in general in 7 months should kind of become more of a standard for fighting games that are mainstream. I won't say stuff like Guilty Gear is kind of getting to that point now, but I wouldn't say like more like Uni 2 and stuff like that, Grand Blue. I don't expect them to do that because they're still newer titles and they're still brand new to doing that. And I think they're trying to find the right, I would say, system or rhythm or formula to get that. But I think Street Fighter, because of its history, because people had such high expectations and the high expectations pulled through, I think this is kind of the new standard. You have to be able to do this, right? At least 7 months to a year, you should be hitting 3 mil. Because I think Tekken was a little after a year or two.
Tekken 7 was a year after, yeah.
Yeah, so I think
console-wise,
yeah. We're not even talking like how much people spent in the arcade, right? So
yeah, we're not talking arcade. It's not even a discussion.
So I definitely think that this is such a big, huge milestone for fighting games in general that people are playing the game, and most people don't see that.
Yeah. But also to put the other number out there, I kind of forgot to put this. Remember, Street Fighter V is the best-selling game in the series to date right now with 7.4 million. So they're trying to outsell it with, a 30% uptick. It is a ballsy move, but we'll see if it pays off. We've got to give them a couple years.
They haven't even done any partial sales either. I think they've done maybe one where they've take 10% off, 15% off. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens when they start doing
sales. Yeah,
because they didn't. Street Fighter V did a free to play at one point for a weekend. Yes. So I'm kind of curious to see if Street Fighter 6 maybe takes on that free to play as well to kind of get more people into it when they start seeing the numbers dwindling a little harsher than normal because it's still the first year.
Yeah, they got plenty of room. They're not even halfway through their first season, so they got plenty of things plenty of ammunition in the chamber to kind of get some more sales out there. So we'll see how the whole entire run goes, but off to a strong start right now. All right, so that is going to do it for our Street Fighter 6 news for this week's episode. Let's just get going because we gotta get some quick notes out there. First of all, we said it was an important week. It is for good reason. Remember, today's the 22nd. That means this Friday will be the 26th. 26 is a big day. That's it, man. That is the last of the missing pieces, right? The last missing piece to the entire puzzle. Tekken 8 is going to officially release. Whether you are a crack, this next sentence is gonna sound weird. Whether you're a crack user, or you're breaking street date or whatever, and you already got your hands on it, is what it is. But officially to the masses, we're gonna start seeing Tekken 8 out there this Friday, and it's going to be amazing. They had a small launch trailer that came out about a day or so ago. Just giving you glimpses into the story. I honestly have been even though we cover it here a lot, we've been covering Tekken and everything. We've been covering more of the mechanics and kind of more on the competition side of things. I've been intentionally just staying away from story-wise outside of things I just cannot avoid in certain trailers. I did not know as to how they were kind of plotting as to what Kazuya is doing here and kind of what his entire kind of evil plot is, as well as where Reina's coming in. There's already, I've already seen the story trailer and then the opening movie as well. I'm even more interested now. I'm actually more interested now. I'm really intrigued as to where they're taking this. I'm really curious, and I kind of, I can't wait to get my hands on it even more. And that doesn't even come into, the idea of actually playing the game, which I don't know if you saw that that other tweet the other day where they were breaking down Jin Kazama, his actual moves, the actual inputs, and mad people were like, bro, you wonder why fighting games are so intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it and I was like, that was a way easier way Bandai Namco could have presented how to play a character than giving us a goddamn nothing short of a goddamn spreadsheet on this character.
But that's their game.
What the fuck? I know, but it's bro, ease motherfuckers in. Ease motherfuckers in, please. Don't just go full Nelson on it. Just give it a second, alright? Some people just aren't ready for the tap input to long press to what step versus just jumping. A 1 plus 2, then they ain't ready for that. Just ease up a little bit. It's alright. You're gonna sell. Don't worry about it. You're gonna sell.
I think they did, because I've been playing a lot of the demo. I played it at MagFest even more against other people, just to see what people are doing and how they were liking the game. And people seem to be really responsive. I've played people who use, and I'm gonna say it this way because Street Fighter 6 has done a great job of deeming it that modern mode or modern controllers. There is a modern controller setting in the game to make things a little bit easier for people. It's actually a normal function you could turn on and off while playing. So I don't know if people really notice that, but it's preset to L1, and you could just in the middle of the game just turn it on and start doing modern controllers. So I wonder how much we're going to see benefit from that for obviously competitive players, but I think from the casual players aspect, that's going to be really dope. I personally think this game is going to sell really well. I think it's going to sell really well due to the fact that we got a story, we got game modes, we clearly have everything we've talked about, right? So Mortal Kombat 1 did it, Street Fighter 6 is doing it, Grand Blue currently is doing it. We got to see what Uni kind of holds for everybody. Supposedly, people have been playing it on the PS5, PS4 at the moment. So I'm curious to see what they do to really entice the casual players, because obviously we have these other modes that are probably going to pop up. I think it was like a Tekken Ball. So Tekken Ball is back in the game.
Yeah, Tekken Ball's back. Yeah, dude.
There's so many things. Everything.
The game is doing a lot of things right. The lobby, the Xbox avatar ass lobby, that's going to be banging. I can't wait for that. That's going to be fun. But hey, we're all going to be able to enjoy that. That's coming once again, January 26th. It's going to be releasing. It's going to be finally out. The triage is complete. MK, Street Fighter 6, and Tekken all have a numerical sequel that have come out within, let's say, 7-8 months of each other. So new generation, new era of fighting games completely start there.
And you will be able to preload it on January 24th. So they did say that is going to be a thing. So Steam, PS4, PS5, well, PS5, Xbox Series X. I don't know if they're doing backwards compatible for PS4. I haven't really seen that.
Doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, it's just too much.
The PS4 will be sweating just looking at it. All right, so you actually touched on it earlier, but also, hey, not to be outshined at all with the big three and all, but Uni 2 released day. Out now. Go get it. Check out the Twitch streams if you haven't played the game. Check out the homie, the Brett. He's been streaming at this time of obviously recording. He's been streaming it, but he'll probably be streaming it again. Go check him out. We had him on before. Awesome player, awesome community member. But he's playing it right now. But Uni 2 is out in full effect. Dude, it's a good time to be playing games right now. Like not even just like fighting games for sure, absolutely. But games in general, like if you're not rocking, if you already have fighting games on your repertoire right now. They're in your rotation, right? You still got, whatever's hot. You got your Power Worlds, whatever. You got motherfucking the Prince of Persia game that dropped that, I wasn't even aware how good it was gonna be, or rather what the gameplay was until I saw it. And then I got the sign off by the homie that's saying, yeah, it's good. We got Final Fantasy next month. We've got Suicide Squad next month. Granted, if it doesn't fucking, crash and burn on release, we'll have to see. But, it is a good time to play. So don't feel overwhelmed. And, but on the same time, if you really want to jump into fighting games, the best time, especially if you're going to be playing Tekken, best time to play it is with everybody else when we're all learning at the same time, so that way you don't feel like getting left behind. I know it seems kind of weird, but this is just a very opportune moment. This is the nexus point right here. If you are jumping into Tekken, do it ASAP rock. And that actually is going to bring up to one of the questions for this week, actually, which is Tekken related, is I want to know, is Tekken 8 going to be your first Tekken game? It could be whether it's competitive or if you just literally have never played a Tekken game before, but you've always seen it. And now you're like, yo, you have my curiosity. Now you have my attention kind of deal. Is Tekken 8 going to be your first Tekken game? Let us know. We'll have the post up on Twitter as well as on Spotify. We want to hear from you guys as well as on our Discord. Make sure to join us, smash.gg/Discord. Join our group right there. We'll be posting it up. And I want to hear from you guys because I have a strong feeling it's going to be a lot of people's first Tekken, including myself in a sense of like kind of more competitive. I've played Tekken before, but I'm really digging Tekken 8. If I'm really digging it, I guarantee you a lot more of the casuals or people that also in maybe my position are also going to be checking it out.
Honestly, the more and more I play it, it feels like a completely different Tekken. It feels like older meets like not new at all, like its own entity. So I think the new players will enjoy a lot of the ease of access and just the feel. It feels fast. It feels good. Korean backstep is gone pretty much too. So you can play the game normally.
I have heard.
It's like still kind of there, but it's not there. So it's kind of nice.
All right, we'll see. All right, so that's it for all. Oh, excuse me, not all main game news. Excuse me. There is one more thing. Grand Blue. Nothing like major, but the Kayane Cup went down, and there was a little exclusive that happened to be there. They got to show off. To be announced. We already got gameplay. We already know. We're sold. We're in for it. Long haul, absolutely. But we got to see some more screenshots, including the, I guess, not the more important one, but hey, a nice little call where we can actually remove her blindfold in the customization and all that. So.
Oh, that's weird.
Hey, I want to see the weapons. I want to see what she's gonna get, because in Grand Blue you can change out between the colors and the weapons, you kind of get some unique loadouts. I want to see what they're gonna do with 2B. There's a lot they can do there. A lot of Easter eggs they can throw in there. But yeah, get to see your face. So I don't know if they, I'm gonna assume she's gonna have an ability to not have the skirt. I'm just gonna call it out right now. If they don't hit us with a no skirt version, Side Games just fucking drop the bag on it. Unfortunately,
I would like her to have an A2 outfit if we're not gonna see A2. Or a A2, 9S outfit, just for the hell of it,
A2
right?
Would be dope.
So,
Listen, if we don't get an A2 outfit, that's fine. We're gonna have our awesome modders out there to do it anyway. So guarantee it's gonna be there in one way or the goddamn other. All right, so with that is gonna be it for our mainstream news, all updates that we have here for everything in the fighting game community. Any of the big ones that we wanted to talk about at the moment. So let's just jump into some of the stuff that we're just finding out, some of the stuff that we're going to put some highlights on. And this one might be deemed controversial, air quotes, but got to see this in a random, I think it was a Facebook group, off the rip. But this is like a Marvel Kombat concept, and it's a Kayane concept as well. So obviously Warner Brothers and MK are pretty synonymous, but we always thought like, hey man, what if, we had a Marvel-centric kind of game that was more gritty, more with the MK feel to it, right? Like, this is a completely AI generated. We know it's AI. We're not saying it's not AI, but it's not like this is like some sort of monetary, like, someone made money out of this as far as we know. But this concept regardless is dope. I love it. I love the characters. I love how they've been presented, and it just further pushes the idea that, man, even if we don't get like another Marvel, like say crossover, I don't see any reason why Marvel couldn't come into the game and pull out a dope ass fighting game that could be a little bit more on this kind of, grittier side of things. Like, why not? But I know there's an Image and Disney and all that, but like, come on, like, yo, Kraven the Hunter, like, that'd be dope. Biggest miss though out of this is of course no Wolverine. I don't know how that one missed. Whoever was doing this was like just completely forgot Wolverine. Yeah, they did have Sabretooth, but still though. Mandrill?
How you gonna
for real? And Iron Duck? I don't know about that last one either. I mean, I'm not the biggest Marvel head, but I don't know about that Iron Duck at the end.
I just didn't like what they did.
But Doom? Oh my god, Doom.
I mean, this would make me play Phoenix again. This was cool. Like, I really think that AI generated doesn't matter at this point. I think we're at that point in time where games are just gonna be what they're gonna be, right? And I think the stylization of it is pretty dope. I kind of just would like to see it become true at this point. For concepts like this, I think it's a really cool tool. That's it. That's all I just want to call it on. I think it's a great tool to do it, because maybe sometimes you just need to get the idea. And bro, listen, I don't know how to render. There, I don't know how to sculpt in 3D. Like, but if I can get a tool that lets me put an idea out to pitch it, like, why the hell not? But unfortunately, we don't know who actually did create this. I couldn't find the actual original person to credit, but whoever it is, yo, awesome work. There's actually a series of these. It isn't just like this. They did like a celebrity one and some other ones, but this one was the dopest one. Marvel in a kind of Mortal Kombat type game. It's a killer. I don't see why NetherRealms couldn't do it, but outside of being owned by Warner Brothers, but it is what it is. Anyway, next up, man, you want to talk about going through some nostalgia real quick. I don't know how far you've dived into, if you've ever dove into VR at all. I did very early with even before Oculus, just like very early of VR stuff, and I don't know if you also remember, like a while back, we covered this concept of someone actually developed during COVID, they actually like recreated Evo stage, like at the 2019 Evo stage for VR chat. So that way the concept was like, oh, you can just go there if you also happen to have VR chat and especially you have the headset and you just try to experience it, right? That's a cool concept. Someone just like took that idea and just ran with it and created what is basically literally a time capsule. So this is actually formerly called the Arcade Time Capsule, for you 90s heads, 80s. I say 90s more because the carpet's kind of like a little bit of a giveaway.
But, you know, for those that didn't experience the arcade scene and those that want to experience it once again, actually being in an arcade, this is a really cool concept. This is a program that allows you to actually like go within a simply rendered arcade in a mall anywhere, your bowling alley, whatever. But the cool part about it is that it's like this, it's just an experience because it's very it's like it hits all the senses. The carpet is there, everything except the smell. I think that's the only thing that's missing. The carpet's there, the lighting is there, the sound is there. So if you're like walking by a Pac-Man arcade, like you're hearing it in your right ear, but you're hearing the off, you know, the other cabs that are running there. The Simpsons over there, you're seeing the X-Men, you know, oh, it's the 4-player, not the 8-player cab, or excuse me, the full 4-player cab, not the dual screen one, whatever. You know, you're hearing it on the left side and you can actually like walk through. And the crazy part is you can interact and actually play all these games. And not even like a cop out, like, you know, it goes full screen. Like, no, like the way it's being shown here, which by the way, the video we're showing here is from Beardo Benjo on YouTube, is the one that's showcasing this. He's just putting, he puts his hand, you know, where the arcade stick is at. And that's when it, like the game itself or the simulation actually just kind of recognizes that you're trying to interact with this game. So now like your controls, like you can pull out your controller for your Xbox controller, arcade stick, and it'll recognize those controller inputs and you just literally play the game there. But your line of sight stays the same. Like it doesn't, like I said, go full screen. You have to like look down at it, like as if you were looking at a cab. Now imagine this, Meza. Now imagine this, but like modern games, which is, we kind of have a trip to do because that's a whole, you know, doing Fightcade stuff is easy and retro stuff is way easier probably to try to, you know, offload this. But imagine trying to, in some way, I don't know, connecting Parsec into these cabs that are actually like, imagine a virtual TNS.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and it's very doable. I think it's very doable to some extent. VR, I will say VR in general has expansively gotten bigger. We're seeing it more and more in just VR chat alone with how interactive you can be with someone or a world that can be created. So I wonder if with this concept, Parsec would be pretty interesting, right? You know, it's loaded into the system as soon as you start the game, because clearly he doesn't have to do anything fancy to play the game, but he can also open up a menu to Parsec, let's say, if you wanted to. But it's still a PC.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely way more probably involved that we're just scratching the surface on the concept of it. But like that's like really dope, because imagine an event that, not to say cancel, but maybe you can't make an event, right? Maybe let's say Frosty Faustings. There's Frosty Faustings, then there's like Frosty Faustings, I don't know, VR, where it's happening during the same event, where you can watch the same matches that are going on those same screens, but you can actually just then have a virtual experience as well if you can't make it. Like that's dope. This is just a wild concept, but this is still an incredible product. I'm really stoked about it. The emulation tools, the programming, everything that went down to just get this to work. Like you can play, you know, OG Aliens, you can play, like I said, Simpsons, everything you can think of. And at one point, he also ends up playing Street Fighter 2, the OG original, obviously the World Warrior. Really dope.
Well, I'm actually, you sparked something. I just thought about it. If that was the case, because being at MagFest, they've had a lot of VR stuff there. But
I'm about to say, you were just having an experience.
Keep in mind, I can only play VR for so long. It is, you have to acclimate yourself to it. I think you have to be used to it before you're just doing some of these VRs, because some of the games are a little intense. But it made me think when you were saying like, oh, what if we're at an event, this and that, and obviously we talked about the Evo one. I think if we could make these venues in VR chat, which we've already seen been done, they could run at the same time. But let's imagine you recreate the same exact thing. But now you have people who are online roaming around. Let's say they pay $1 to get in, right? And then all proceeds go to Frosty Faustings, something like that. But what makes it super cool is, like, I can imagine if we have arcade setups, not even tables with the games, just arcade setups. You plug, like, you just join in. It's like you put your quarter in, and next thing you know, the person beside you is also playing. And now you kind of get that same experience where you're like, I have my section. I can still look up and play, you know, while looking at what's happening on the big screen. Like, oh, you know, Justin Wong's playing Third Strike versus, you know, Daigo or something like that. And they're going at it live right then and there, but you're also getting the chance to still play your game You know, like I love stuff because I did that at MagFest where I was like, I'm playing CVS 2, but I'm looking up to the left and I'm watching people play the crane game. You know, they're doing a tournament for that, or you know, something else. So that to me is like that is the closest.
This is just gonna bring us closer to VTuber supremacy. Don't worry, it's gonna be there. Yeah. It's gonna eventually happen. I'm sorry, boys, but that would be dope. This is just a dope concept. Once again, this is the arcade. What's the arcade time capsule? Go check it out. They have an awesome Discord you can join. They have all the step-by-steps, tutorials, everything you need, support, bug reports, everything as an ongoing product. They're constantly working on it. Go check that out. Super dope concept. I can't wait to get myself a Quest 3 and actually try it myself. So with that, we're gonna take our own virtual kind of break, because when we get back, we're gonna talk about we're gonna take you guys to school. We're gonna take you guys to school. We're gonna see if you guys are up for the task of actually getting a degree in fighting games. You're gonna know more about that after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Whoa, it's like we're here, but we're not. It's virtual, bro. All right, so we're back from the break. Just got off the, like I said, the little time capsule there. That awesome concept. But let's just jump into this really interesting topic. I'm really sad Static wasn't here, because I thought it'd be also funny to have his input on this. But this is, you couldn't tell me this was a thing when I was a kid, like that this would actually be a thing. This is something like a kid kind of thinks up of. But the fact that it's actually something that's accredited, that's real, that's actually something you can do today, just shows how gaming has evolved. I'm talking about UC Berkeley having a new course added into their curriculums called The Art of Fighting Games, a fusion of gaming and education. Shout outs to Arcade Press for the article. But the University of California, Berkeley, known for its academic excellence, is set to offer a course titled The Art of Fighting Games during the spring 2024 semester. The innovative course takes a unique approach, merging traditional academics and the digital world, signaling a shift of the perception of gaming as a value tool for education. Bro, you're telling me I can get a master's degree for mashing? This is awesome. Dude, this is dope. This is absolutely incredible.
I'm going to say real quick, this just reminds me of the movie Accepted, where they just made their own course, their own college.
Yeah, that Justin Long joint. I hated that movie because people called me and said I looked like him when my hair was long. I was like, God damn it, Justin Long.
That's
opening
crazy.
old wounds there.
But bad. I didn't know.
Bro, straight up. Yeah, Accepted. Great comparison. So it's a 2-unit course that offers students a comprehensive education in playing and understanding fighting games. There's a syllabus that's there. You can go to it right now. This is not a prank. This is not fake. This is a legit accredited course that you can take right now. And this is awesome. And you know what? A part of me says like, yo, I can't believe it. But another part of me is also like, like fighting games have been studied before. I mean, video game in general have had so many studies done it before, right? With things like being able to do with problem solving and mechanical development and such, right? It's a known thing. It's just awesome to see that fighting games have just been able to now get an actual like course in it. I mean, shit, if fucking what was it? Was it Lupe? Yeah. If Lupe Fiasco can teach at MIT, the art of rapping, we could definitely get the art of mashing over here, right? Like it's not too far fetched. But it's because honestly, it's a cool understanding, because if you look at the syllabus, it's really dope because it brings up like the course description. It's like trying to set the pace of it, right? Welcome to 1980s Japan. You're a salaryman coming home from a long day of work. But before you return home, you stop by the cultural haven of the entertainment industry at the time. Messed up my tab there. Of the time, the arcade. So it's really the course itself breaks down a lot of things. There's a lot of learning objectives. There's a really dope format. Once again, this is all stuff that's in the syllabus. You guys can go check this out. But the learning objectives are as follows: understanding the fundamentals of fighting games, understanding fighting game jargon. That's pretty fucking important. Learning the different techniques to improve game sense and technical execution, and learn to identify how to improve oneself in a competitive environment. Also learn about the culture and the history of the fighting game community and Japan. throw that in there, and learn about tournaments and how they run. So it's like it brings a couple of different concepts of modern stuff, and obviously it's going on historical, the historical impact that it's had, and it's nothing new. I mean, like colleges having some sort of you can get an esports degree, I believe, out in Rowan University in New Jersey right now. There's like an esports program out there. So it's not like a crazy concept in that, but it's really cool to see this specific fighting game one, because there's just so many things I don't know if you've noticed, Mez. I don't know how much you've learned from fighting games that you've been able to take from like being competitive in fighting games that you've taken out into real life. Like, have you had those moments yet? I'm pretty sure there's a lot, right?
I've had
there's like no way you haven't. Yeah.
I'm like, there's times where I'm like, hey, this is not the right time to just be super competitive. Just be patient. It's like I have to like. I always look at something like training room is the prime example of like knowing what your objective is and not doing unnecessary things. So like even when I'm at work, I'm like, do I really have to put that there to do this, to do that? Maybe I just need to condense it and really realize that, hey, I don't need to do all this stuff. I can just go straight to do this or straight to talk to this person. And now I skip all the meat, all the things that don't matter, that are going to just be a waste of energy and time or repetition that I don't need yet.
In case y'all didn't know, Mez was a bit of a training room monster. So like the concept of trying to get from point A to point B, my objective of doing this and having these many resources to get to this point, and then figuring all that out, that's one way, I guess, Mez has been able to apply that. But the course itself breaks down all that. It's going to go into those kind of learning objectives. The required material is fucking hilarious to read. It's like, oh, you need a computer to play at home or bring to lecture. It needs to run Fightcade.
Which is good.
Being a college student and being given a syllabus, and on that bitch just says like, "Yo,
go get a laptop,
Fightcade, go get a laptop, you get some Fightcade on." I'm like, what? Prerequisites, like, required material. I went to college. I had to pay like $70 for a book that I don't remember reading. I think I used that as like a doorstop, at least once.
And had to sell to somebody else because there was no return.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I'm broke as shit. I'm a broke 18-year-old. I need to get my money back. It's like, yo, just download Fightcade. That's crazy.
I kind of wonder though, because like I love this concept. This is it kind of shows you the history, not just of fighting games, but gaming entering into colleges. We never really had this when we were growing up, right? We were the ones trying to convince just high schools and
to get a goddamn after school club.
Exactly. They're like, oh, you need a teacher, and the teacher's like, what the hell is the point of this? But I feel like we've progressively passed that. I mean, you could look at Rutgers as a good example. Rutgers has built a system where it's integrated, where hey, your collegiate sport, outside of like League of Legends and stuff like that, but your collegiate sport can be Smash, and you can essentially go further with not just Smash, but like in school to, I guess, is to earn kind of like accolades to show like, hey, you've participated. Some people would in debate club or anything like that. Yeah. So I love that they're doing this, but I think the cool part is there's so many books out there that a lot of us don't get to read, and a lot of fighting game players have published that we don't really get to talk about. Like Thomas Kingsley Trope published the fighting game esports, the competitive gaming world of Super Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, and of course more. And then you have obviously Daigo's book, but you also have like Playing to Win, Becoming the Champion by David Sirline. So it's like we can also utilize books that aren't necessarily just about fighting games, but have to do with other sports integration. So now we're seeing like it's more than just it being only a sport. We can really integrate fighting games like Core Gaming as kind of like maybe there could be, that's like our book, right? Even though it's online.
That Core, you know what? I will give you this too. I don't think I saw Core Gaming like being referenced in here, and bro, that is a YouTube channel that should definitely be referenced in here in any kind of educational concept. But at the end of the day, it's competition. It's competition. It is the art of competition. And whether it's fighting games or in chess or in debate or in traditional sports, there are lessons there. There are things to learn. It's just, some of those barriers are physical. Sometimes they're also, I don't want to say you have to be like a certain kind of mental, because of shit, man. If you're playing fighting games, you have to have no mental, and you don't have to be physical at all. You just got to be able to do shit. But jokes aside, this is a really cool class. It kind of really does hone in on some of the concepts as well, or it does hone in on a lot of the concepts of, like I stated earlier, in those objectives. And the idea that the class is like, it's like you do it twice a week, and it's for like 3 hours. The first hour and a half is like more of the really the lesson, the actual like curriculum when it comes to like the knowledge of it. And then the other half of it is actually practical. So you're pressing buttons. Like you will play that girl in the corner that you think is cute, and maybe you want to scout, right? Like you want to rizz up, like, yo, first attend me or I'll take you out, right? Like that's gonna be dope. But like, it's cool that they give you a practical, because they're trying to break those barriers, trying to show that it isn't that hard to actually get into, right? But yeah, the resources they have on there is awesome. I just cannot believe on the syllabus I'm seeing like Third Strike sprites in here of like Ryu and Akuma and shit. You have to join the Discord. This is the homework. God, it's so incredible, and the fact that you also have to have a report. There's an actual, like, it's 30%. Like the report's like 30%. I love the memes that went off on Twitter for it. They were like, oh yeah, block this mix-up for 30% of your grade, right? Shit like that. What if your teacher comes up and says, yeah, beat me for 30%? You're gonna make this final, right? Like, the jokes are great. They write themselves, but damn, I also wouldn't put it past that. Like, I would take that. 100%.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna throw this out there because when I was at MagFest, I actually went to one of the game devs, like getting into the industry. I think this is also a perfect example of like, outside of just having these other credentials, you go take this course, right? Now you're understanding fighting games, or you're understanding gaming in general, because obviously they have other courses, I'd imagine, in other schools. But instead of just being a game developer, or being getting into music and then having to work your way into becoming a game industry, getting into the game industry, which is hard still, this is another route to put on your portfolio and go, hey, I have a master's in this. Like, I understand how fighting games work. We learned frame data. We understood how art worked in it. We understood we had homework, right? We had the right reports. And from there, I think that is a beautiful entry point for people who also want to get into the game industry that we don't see enough. And we always say there's different avenues to get into the gaming industry. And I think if you're trying to get into fighting games, this is a great course to just take, right? Hell, why not? You might as well just sign up as a whole double tap and do it.
Fundamentally, man, it's just video games. It's one person versus the other, right? This fighting games encapsulates that to an incredible degree. And then just all those nuances, all those little things in between is what you have to check out. Also, shout outs to homework assignment number 4. Play a 1st to 5 with someone else in Discord. Make sure you record it and submit the names of both individuals. That is homework, dog. You know how many motherfuckers have done that just for fun? Now you can get credit for it if you happen to be in California and also happen to be at Berkeley. But yeah, so the Art of Fighting Games course over at UC Berkeley is official. It's out there. If I have the opportunity, you know what, Berkeley, if you're seeing this, we are your perfect subjects for it. We would love to go in. If you need a co-op to speak, I'm sure any of us would be more than down to do it. But this is dope. I really love the idea of it. I love the concept, and I would love to see this out in the East at some point as well. Some other college, or I'd rather everywhere. I want it everywhere.
I wonder 2 things. How much would this go to your GPA? And then on top of that,
right?
That and then
4.0 in one frame links.
That, and then I wonder how much this will become like wildfire, since gaming is getting bigger and bigger every day. If other schools are going to go, that's a great idea. And then syllabus
happens all the time.
I wonder if the syllabus is going to stay the same, or if it's going to evolve at other places to the point where everybody else it's almost like, and then there's your fighting game aspect. Who's doing it better? What school do you go to? Just like
we got fighting game teams. Also, two big disclaimers, or 2 big things I got to bring up. One disclaimer: they're talking about 2D fighters. They stated in the syllabus, this is not a platform fighter, so Smash Brothers does not count. So just want to make that distinction right now. And 2 is really a question for you guys. The question this week is, if you are a professor and you have the chance to build your fighting game curriculum, what would you specifically add to your curriculum that you feel would give, give the entire course the proper lessons you want? So basically, what would you put in your course for the actual fighting game curriculum? Let us know. Once again, we'll be posting this up on our Spotify. It'll be live on Twitter and of course on our Discord, mash.gg/Discord. Make sure to join us there. We want to hear it. Let me hear what the professors out there got going on. One frame links are really going to be important for you. Patience 101, is that part of the course? Who knows? But we want to know. Make sure to let us know and we'll talk about it on the following episode. But that's going to be it for UC Berkeley. That's going to be it for that course. And that's also going to be it for this week's episode of Double Tap. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It's going to be a big week. Once again, Tekken 8's right around the corner. Uni 2 just dropped, so go check out your favorite Twitch streamers out there, your homies that are the Discord fighters are going to be going live for real. And we got plenty more coming up for the rest of the month, obviously with Ed in February as well. So it's going to be a good time for fighting games, but that is going to be it for us once again here on Double Tap. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Make sure to follow my awesome host, even though he's not here. Oh, there we go, that way. Even though he's not here, go follow Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms. Make sure to follow Meza. Send them, I don't know, I'm trying to think what are like hangover remedies. Whatever cocktails he had at MagFest, go get him an E-Tank, get him something. The brother needs to recover. Get him some soju. There you go. Make sure to follow him at Meza FGC. Go tell him what's up. If you were at MagFest too, make sure to send him some pictures because maybe he was there at the exact same time as you were. That mother brain costume for MagFest was fucking amazing. I don't know if you guys saw it.
There's so many.
I hope you did see it. You can follow me at #BS, of course, on all social media platforms, and of course make sure to follow our main channel Double Tap FGC as well. We'll be posting up with new episodes, new clips, and of course our polls and questions of the week. Make sure to say what's up to us there. Tag us on anything you think we should get into, articles, anything we should need to check up on. By the way, shout outs to Big Safe homie. We did read your message. We'll be bringing that up on the following episode. We are not ignoring you. We always listen to our fans out there. We ain't hard to reach at all. With that, you guys can also support us completely free of charge on your favorite podcast platform of choice by liking, giving us some feedback, telling us what we're doing right so we keep on doing it, telling us what we're doing wrong so we can go back to the training stage and kind of work on that matchup. We appreciate everyone that has done it and everyone that is going to be doing it in the future. And if you haven't already, make sure to join us once again on our Discord, mash.gg/Discord. We'll talk about all articles, stuff that we talk about on the show there. Like I said, we post up questions of the week. And there's some things going on with Discord. We'll get some more details later on. But in the meantime, you can join us there, of course. That is going to be it for us this week. We're going to be having a new episode once again every Tuesday of the week, recorded live here on twitch.tv/DoubleTapFGC. You can join us here. We'll be live next week. We're going to be talking about Tekken. We're going to be jumping in on it. We're definitely going to be talking about stories. So if that's up your alley, make sure to join us for next week's episode. I've been Crash. That's been Meza. Static ain't here, but he'll be next week for sure. Till then, guys, read your books, work on your frame data, hit them books, get that A. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.